When I see step families that have done a really great job blending, I notice there's a common theme running across households. It's not that step siblings all love each other. It's not a step couple that never argues about the kids. It's a step family that's just stopped buying into the ridiculous but numerous myths about what makes step family life work. Today, I'm going to talk to you about four of those common myths so that you can reframe your blended family life, get unstuck, and move towards your own step family reset. I know this because I lived it. My husband Jack and I hadn't been dating all that long before we had the old define the relationship talk. And I just straight asked him, "What do you want?" And he didn't hesitate. He looked me in the eye and he said, "I want to rebuild a family." And that was music to my ears because really, that's what I wanted to. So, armed with our new love and this shared dream, we propelled ourselves forward into blending our family, my two daughters and his two sons. And it was messy as hell. Part of what made it so unnecessarily painful was the fact that we really were buying into a mythology, an old script about what stepfamily life was supposed to look and feel like. The first myth that we learned to let go of was the myth that stepfamilies that work stop feeling like a stepfamily. We can joke about the Brady Bunch all we want, but it's kind of crazy how the expectation to just seamlessly blend two groups of people together is still a prevailing expectation for step families. And it's only the ones who are like doing it wrong that are experiencing things like resentment or grief or conflict. The truth is that step families who manage to blend well have learned to understand and work through, not avoid, key challenges that are just baked into step family life. And when we take a peek at what's going on inside a well blended family, one that more or less has found their groove together, what we typically see are people that still very much identify as feeling part of a step family. We see people fully embracing the idea that two things can be true at the same time. My stepchildren add value to my life, and sometimes I feel like an outsider because they'll always favor their actual parents. My step parent partner really cares about my children and is never really seeing them through the same forgiving, patient lens that I do. We have traditions that we've created together in our step family home, and there are moments where the kids grieve how things were when it was just us before we blended. That's what normal really looks like. And we can own that this is really different from how a first time family system feels for those inside it. And that's okay. The second myth that we need to dispel about stepfamily life is that the kids should always come first. And before you get too triggered by that statement, I'll say the third myth following closely behind is that the marriage should always come first. When it comes to stepfamily life, I hear lots of competing messages about these issues. And very often, when I begin my work with coaching clients, I see partners with heels dug in on opposing sides of this issue, each buying into a version of the same toxic stepfamily myth. On one end, we have the believed myth that the kids should always come first. And this is faulty first and foremost because black and white, all or nothing thinking seldom leads to great outcomes in parenting. It's true that kids and step families hold a unique set of experiences that parents should attune to, right? They're dealing with grief and loss, they're dealing with big changes, they're not always emotionally ready for those changes, and they're facing loyalty binds. And at the same time, they aren't the only humans in this system we've created here, right? When it comes to parenting, it's finding this mix of attunement and shaping kids towards resilience that creates emotionally secure kids. So, putting kids first 100% of the time doesn't necessarily create secure and confident kids, especially if the parent's preferred way of doing this involves a permissive parenting style. What it can do is make for an emotionally distant marriage. Another way to put this in much plainer language is this: if you want your kids to come first 100% of the time, don't get repartnered. The other side of this same myth is that the step couple's relationship is supposed to come first. This belief is also equally rigid, but it is dominant amongst most marriage therapy frameworks. The belief that if the couple's relationship is good and upheld as primary, the kids' well being will just naturally follow. That's a belief that's really constructed in around the first time family playbook. And honestly, As a couples therapist, I do believe that the couples first philosophy works when it comes to first time partnerships. But as a step family expert, I can tell you that we have a body of research that shows that this just doesn't work for step families. What we know actually works in a step family system is an ongoing pursuit of balance between upholding the needs of children and the needs of a marriage. Both deserve equal importance. And I mean, if that sounds like a hard balance to find, it is. But you don't have to do it perfectly to do it well enough. Okay, last one. And this might be the one that makes you the most angry. The old line, well, you knew what you signed up for. This myth is damaging because it's both categorically false and I think it serves to chastise and dismiss the experience of people trying their best to make a step family work. Like, because so much of our society, from movies and television to our community systems to even our mental health system, is organized around the rhythms and norms of first time nuclear families. We're kind of set up to miss the mark on the fact that step families are unique. So even the most well-intended of us enter into step families thinking we know how it's going to be. We might even tell ourselves, oh, sure, it's going to have its hard moments, but we have no real concept of the true nature of those hard moments, what they evoke in us, what they ask of us. We don't really know what we are signing up for. I mean, geez, even with all my previous experience and training as a couples and family therapist, I still didn't know what I didn't know. It took a lot of self compassion and an insane learning curve to really find my own groove as a step parent. So when you hear that tired line of, you knew what you signed up for, being lobbed in your direction, I just want to encourage you to take a deep breath and let that ignorant noise go. Myths like these are keeping step families stuck, and you deserve better than that. Tell me in the comments, which ones have you bought into? I read every single one. And if this helped, subscribe. There's a lot more where this came from.